I have grave concerns here in Zehlendorf, southern Berlin. This is what they call a Waldfriedhof, a forest cemetery. My little tripod keeps locking. Beautiful day here. This is the ideal kind of weather you get in Berlin in the summer. If it's not boiling hot like it is in most of the continent, sometimes, you get some cool air up here. So even though it's mid-July, only about 75 degrees today. Gonna get a little hot this weekend. But all things considered, much more reasonable than most places. This is gorgeous. This is just like a park. Look at these expansive fields and beautiful trees. So a bit different than the Waldfriedhof of Stahnsdorf, where they filmed that Netflix Dark series, which is much more overgrown. This looks a lot more managed. Not to say that one wasn't managed. It was managed well. I liked it. It's just managed differently. So maybe this one's a little overmanaged, I don't know. But at least the center area is quite open and just large, big views out to the stones, which are a little bit more into the forest, a little truer to the name. Let's see if we can find a field number here, and then I'll go hunting around, because the main person to find here is Willy Brandt, who, if you don't know who that is, maybe you do, because obviously I would have put it in the title, and maybe you're just watching it to see his grave. Sorry, that keeps locking up, and I'm just going to recenter. This thing gets a little fixated. Well, to start off with, the current Berlin airport is Willy Brandt Airport. But he was quite the politician in the 70s, and sort of famous for having gone to Warsaw for the big mea culpa, basically apologizing for the atrocities of World War II directly to the Poles. Just gonna pop in here because this just looks so nice. And if you go to Warsaw, you can visit that memorial where he placed flowers. It's kind of a famous moment in the Cold War, because that really, put a mark in time, that enough time had gone by and relations had thawed between the Germans and the Poles sufficiently for that to happen. And then his extension of sympathy and penance, I guess, for lack of a better word. That's a bit of a religious term, but yeah, just the apology. It went a long way. Made a big impression. Still remembered to this day. One of these signature stones. But just this area has a nice kind of terraced garden here. It's really beautiful. And that memorial is right across from the Jewish Museum. Might have another name in Warsaw, like it's the National Center for whatever. It's a library. It's big. It's a massive center of Jewish history. It's a fantastic museum. They even have a replica of a synagogue, like an old wooden synagogue, a medieval synagogue essentially, as part of the displays. Checking out this statue that I saw up here. So yeah, it's a fantastic museum. If you're ever in Warsaw, that was probably my favorite museum in that city. Warsaw is a great city. Professor Otto Geyer, 1965. He's got the broken-armed statue here. In any case, I'm going to be looking for field 38 to see if I can find Willy Brandt. But this is just gorgeous here. When you have a beautiful day like this and you get a kind of a garden forest cemetery, It doesn't really get any better as far as I'm concerned, because I do these largely for the exploration, the walk, the nature, the memory, the memorialization. There's a grave of honor, Paul Loeb, 1967, worth looking up. See the grave of honor plaque down there on the right. There is, of course, a list of well-known people, but I looked at it and I never heard of any of them. But that doesn't mean anything. It just means I'm ignorant to this specific local German stuff. Like there's an old mayor here named Texas Willy. That sounded pretty cool. I don't know if I'll find him, but you know, that's the kind of thing. It piques your interest, and then you go look it up. As it is here, I'm in the field, you know. I'm doing the first-hand exploration. And the idea is that would inspire me or somebody else to go look deeper into somebody. That's an interesting, just kind of cube stone there. Recent, 2019, 2021. It's a beautiful section up here. This must cost a little extra to be in here, because this is really well groomed. Although, you know, I don't have anything to compare it to yet. Maybe every little section is groomed like this. Let's find out. So yeah, Willy Brandt is in, or Willy Brandt, as the locals might say. You know, that's an issue, these sort of international pronunciations. I'm just sort of back from the UK, and you know, they give you a hard time if you don't pronounce the cities correctly, and I pronounce most of them correctly because I'm from New England. So I stayed in Leicester, for example, but that's spelled, anyone else would pronounce that Leicester. That's how it's spelled. But being from New England, I'm, you know, familiar with towns like that. Interesting memorial over here, so some kind of bell tower. So I knew it was Leicester, or Edinburgh. Edinburgh would be Edinburgh by any other standard. They give you a hard time about that if you mess it up, but you know, British pronunciations are pretty weird, and they don't really respect international naming systems either. So there's a bit of hypocrisy in that, and the main example that I came across there that I'd never seen before, because I've run into some strange British pronunciations, but if you've ever seen the name Belvoir, Belvoir, it's a standard French name. Here's a grave of honor. Martha Horlitz and Albert Horlitz, 66 and 72. There's a young person here, or, well, she almost made it to 60, but they got a young photo of her. Ines Putcher. Young enough. Anyway, Belvoir. It's a French word, obviously, and they should pronounce it Belvoir. That would be the proper pronunciation. They pronounce it Beaver. So there's all kinds. There's always like Belvoir Street, and there's a Belvoir Castle. They say Beaver Street and Beaver Castle, which I thought was ridiculous. Like, you're going to pronounce Belvoir Beaver and give people a hard time for saying Edinburgh instead of Edinburgh. And so there's, you know, there's just idiosyncrasies like that. Like the town of Derby, D-E-R-B, is pronounced Derby. Derby, Derbyshire is Derbyshire. So, you know, you don't find out about these things until you go to the place and somebody corrects you. Anyway, I think you get a sense of the layout here. It's pretty nice. Pretty darn nice cemetery. Lots of horticulture going on each stone. Everybody's got their little plot of personal flowers. It's really nice. And it's, as you can see, a lot of variety in the stone types too. So already a pretty unique place. Another grave of honor here. Block Helmut Kautner. Sorry, Elizabeth Block. I missed her first name. Two names, Elizabeth Block and then Helmut Kautner. So I'm not sure who they're honoring there. There you have it. So I have yet to see a field marker, which doesn't bode well for me finding Willy Brandt. And this thing keeps locking up on me. It's in need of repair. Again, I've got the toothpick in the hinge, which isn't working perfectly, but it's keeping it together. Some of the screws came out, and they, not a standard screw head, so I don't know what to put in there. So where the hell am I? There are no field markers here. I guess maybe this is a field marker. Let's look at these mossed over signs. I see a name and not a number anyway. Well, there's something here that says 9 in Roman numeral. And then there's, on this tree, 022003. So maybe that's the field marker. And again, I'm looking for 38. I know it's up here on the right somewhere. But this is a massive cemetery, so this could take some hunting. In any case, we can certainly enjoy the trees. There's a lot of benches around here. I think I will take a rest at some point. But again, just to show you this kind of central field in the middle, and just how sort of woodsy it is. Like, look at these wooden benches. They just look like something you'd see at a summer camp. Nice tall pine trees out here. Let's see, where are we going to find field 38? I don't remember if it was right on the edge of this central field or inside a little bit. And I don't know what his stone looks like. I didn't look it up beforehand. Sometimes it's good to do that, just see a picture of it, because, and then if you spot it from a distance, or you kind of know what shape you're looking for. And I don't know why I always think it's going to be more obvious than it is. I always think there's going to be some big sign for the main celebrity of the cemetery, or celebrities, persons of note. It's never like that. But this is, look at how beautiful this is. My God. That is stunning. I gotta get a closer look at that. The Duvals, one of which just died this January. Eckhard. Antiquar. So I don't know, as an antique dealer, but he knew his stuff. He knew what he wanted in this stone. And he picked this beautiful flowing statue in copper, I assume. That's already patinaed. Probably this was placed in 2017 or sometime earlier even, since Barbara died in 2017. But that is just a gorgeous color and style. Eckhard picked the winner. Let's just see. 21 again. Yeah, 21. So there's numbers on some of the trees, but there's 2157, 2158, so it's like all the trees are numbered here. But is that the field number? Let's see what this next one says. Oh, I know this is 21 as well, so either I'm still in field 21 or that's not the field number. I gotta go look at this thing. This is like a real private garden here with a whole lattice work. What have they done? A little German phrase, if anybody wants to Google translate that. On the bench. I mean, they've got a mosaic, a little pond, miniature cabin. Lena Marie Fisher, 2017. quite a stone. A lot of pine cones here I'm tripping on too. Some beautiful flowers up here. People are really attending these graves. I know they have services here where you can pay the staff, the groundskeepers, to plant and maintain your flowers. That's probably a good way to support the cemetery too. Keep these folks employed properly, paid properly. It's kind of a beautiful setup here. These two stones that complement each other, obviously a couple of some kind. Let me see, there is a name on the side here. Kirsten Herr Gebdreger, 1971 to 2016. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that is just one person, but it's a beautiful stone. So, field 38 looks like it's going to prove elusive. Let's see what this next field is numbered, if the trees have anything to do with it. $19, huh? That doesn't jive. Unless this place is much more vast than I realized looking at the map, it doesn't jive with what I saw on the map on the way in for the field numbers. Let's just walk to the end and do a little backtracking, see if I can find this Willy Brandt. That's the thing about these prominent citizens. They don't necessarily have a big ostentatious stone. They quite often will have a kind of a humble stone. So I can't count on it jumping out at me as this giant effigy or statue. And obviously, there's been no signage whatsoever. They don't even have the fields marked, or if they do, it's not apparent. Oh, so yeah, I think this is my last cemetery in Berlin. Did about 10 in the UK and enjoyed it very much. So, you know, subscribership is not high. I don't really intend for this to be a super high subscription channel. It's more of just a small community. And so, you know, sometimes I get 20, 50 views. That's fine. I don't aim to please. And that's, I think it's how it should be. People should please themselves first. Otherwise, comes a lot of pandering. Well, I've hit the end here without a trace of Willy Brandt or a field number. I may need to regroup. And, and I think I realized too that my videos can get boring. They're obviously they're not made for mass consumption. When you make 30-minute plus videos, that's pretty rare. That's pretty select, the people who are going to watch that. But, it's exciting for me when I'm making it because I'm exploring and discovering things. But even when I watch them back, I fall asleep sometimes. I've got a monotone, relaxing voice, and the scenes are pleasant and just sort of flowing. And that doesn't offend me if somebody wants to use my videos for sleepy time. If that's their purpose, if you see a little bit and it then lulls you to sleep, I think that's fine. I have plenty of videos and channels that I use that for. Here I am pointing at the ground again. Sorry about that. I do like to keep a decent image though. So, and for me, I learned, it took me a while to figure out what the best little camera was going to be. Not that this is the absolute best, but it's the best for my purposes, and that it was cheap and it's stable. And then I got this little hand holder, and it just really stabilized the image a lot, and I'm pleased with that. It's sufficient for what we're doing here. But I think I'm also exhausting the topic. I kind of like stuff like this. This is silly, but this green basin here for water, just all the green stuff that's gathered on the top of it, just has a certain uniform, singular quality that I like. So at this point, I may have already danced around Willy Brandt and missed him. But yeah, so, I've got enough videos already recorded. I'm just releasing once a week to probably fill up into November, if not farther. And, in the new year, because then where I live, it'll be cold. So we might do some winter filming, and certainly I haven't done Salem, Mass yet, and Halloween October would be a prime month to go up there with the foliage and all of the Salem witch tourism that's going on up there. So I got a few more to grab at home. There's the granary right in downtown with like Sam Adams and Benjamin Franklin's parents. And there is Mount Auburn, which is a beautiful cemetery. I went there many years ago. What's his name? Buckminster Fuller is up there. So yeah, I've got some cemeteries to grab at home. I've got some seasonal stuff. And so I'm also just kind of enjoying the process of creating variety through travel, through seasons, through different weather. I haven't done a night cemetery video yet. So there's stuff for me to do here in, I guess, what I would call the first season of this channel, allowing it to develop. And I'm already starting to think about the second season, but when I make a serious break from this format, I'm going to call that the second season. It'll probably be next year. And probably going to make some shorter videos, because it's, kind of a lot to download and to upload. I usually have to upload overnight, so it's not a lot of work or anything, but it's just a fact that this stuff is running all night, and it's not really practical, especially when you're traveling. My camera's getting fixated. Let's see what we see here. I'm going to go over one more aisle. So yeah, I've got some different ideas, and I think what's going to happen here, if I live long enough to go through with different variety of videos on this, it's gonna keep evolving or changing until it gets ridiculous, until it gets totally absurd. That's just the way. I don't keep doing the same thing over and over again. It may seem like it at this point. Yeah, I'm out here talking to myself, talking to you, whoever's watching. And I'd rather have conversation with somebody as I'm doing this, but I can't expect people to come on these walks. It would take a while anyhow. So, could happen here and there. But even in the UK, I did have some people accompanying me, and they didn't want to speak or be on camera, so people can get shy, which obviously, it's a faceless channel. I don't show up on this, but that's just because I don't want to be visually recognizable if it ever hits for some reason. I think people don't realize how important privacy is. I don't want to be walking down the street in some European city and people bothering me because I'm the grave video guy. So, anyway, this is an interesting one here. Charlotte Landsberg. Take a pause and look at a stone here. And now I think I'm on the back end of that sort of garden terrace, because it's going up a bit. So I think we've seen now how most of it looks. It's, highly gardened and flowered and well kept. But it's not all like we just saw up on the hill. And where they're hiding Willy Brandt at this point, I don't know. So I'm going to regroup, and when I figure it out, show up again. Henry Rees, 1917 to 2004, the Berliner Luftbrücken photograph. So, the Berlin airlift photographer. Obviously wanted to be known for it because that is just prominent on the stone. So I still haven't found Willy Brandt, and I'm just sort of looking in that terraced section. It just has a feel to me like this is where he would be. He has that kind of down-to-earth persona, and this just seems very well integrated over here. I thought he might be here, and then I saw that Luftbrück photograph, which made me think of him. I feel like he could be nearby. But I have no idea. And in any case, I just thought this is a nice enough section for me to just turn it all on again and take a look. I'm going to do a little recentering. Family couch. This little section is a little harder to go through methodically. I've just been going up and down the rows. Yeah, but this is like a series of circles. This is a little harder for me to figure out what I've seen and what I haven't. He could be in here. I don't think so, though. I'm going to go back to the rows just because, again, I want to go with that lead of the airlift photographer. Let's see what's on the other side here. That is a definite prominent Cold War citizen. And mostly I'm just looking for the grave of honor stone that would give him away. I like this one here. Schmidt Elsner Albrecht from 2016. And my camera gets a bit fixated. Doesn't want to look down. Let's try that again. There we go. Not seeing any indication of 1932 to 2016, what this person might have been known for. It looks athletic. Looks like almost like an Olympic athlete grave. And I saw this one over here, Jan, or you really pronounce it Jan, but I don't see Zygmunt. I would love to see Zygmunt Jan's grave, or Zygmunt Jan's grave. He's a fascinating person. He was the first German in space, but he was East German, and he went up with the Soviets as a cosmonaut. And I had the good fortune of meeting him. He gave a speech at the planetarium. I don't remember when that was, but it wasn't that long ago, and he was very healthy, and I was surprised when he died like the following year or year after, and it wasn't COVID related. I want to say I saw him in 2018 and he died in 2019. It was something like that. But I never did look up where he's buried, and so I kind of have that assignment now. That stone made me think of him. I suspect he's buried in the small town where he came from, and he's not in the city here. But, yeah, he was fascinating. He told stories about his experience and going up, and had all these private pictures that, just look like anybody's photos from the 70s, except they happen to be, on a space station. And that was pretty darn cool. Again, camera getting a little fixated. Let me... It's just such a beautiful day. I really don't mind walking around here at all. Nice stone here. Hildegard Schmidt, 1992. This one too. Baumann. Michael Baumann, 2002. Dr. Michael Baumann. I do make a big deal of that over here, the doctor title. If somebody's got it, you got to use it. This is an interesting one here. Alice Wolfe, 2002. Modernist. 1972 to 2002. Not very old. 30 years old. Been gone for a while, over 20 years. Now the signature stone, got a little saxophone player on there. It's different. Got a lot of stones here, but it's not Willy. It is Barbara Beyer. Willy's proving elusive. No way I'm leaving here without finding his grave. Some musical notes there. Volker Heinsberg. I also haven't seen anybody gathered anywhere, so either I'm way off, because that's the thing, right? He's going to attract people. I'm way off. He's got no visitors today. And I've been here already because there's this cube stone, so that'll be a good time for me to pause it again. Finally found this guy where, he's in a pretty obvious place if you come in the right way. I was on the wrong side of the cemetery, but I don't mind. I saw some good stuff. But here's the man of the hour that I've been looking for, Willy Brandt. Nothing there, just his name. So a very plain stone, but when I say that he's in an obvious place, it's that he is right on the edge of a field. Just an open area. And there's some kind of a war memorial over here, which looked kind of interesting. Has a kind of modernist sculpture going on. I thought I'd check it out, and you could see the position relative to Willy Brandt's grave. There's also a chapel here at the end of the field. And when I was looking at the map, I was looking at an entrance. The entrance that I came in, it was referring to a different entrance. So sometimes it's tough when, especially it's from a foreign language. I'm not sure what you're looking at. So I thought, I really combed the area that I was in, and I thought, well, I must just be in the wrong spot, because I would have found them by now. And as soon as I came over here, I found them within 3 minutes. So, but check out this memorial here. Looks like it's something to do with the Italian military. Huh, how about that? No idea what this is about, but it's something. This priest is from the 70s, but look, check this out. And this statue on the left. So Willy's right across from this thing. So this is much easier to find than Willy Brandt. So something about April of 45. Whole story here. So this would take some research, see what's going on here, but I'll just take a closer look at this statue, and it's like a little non-operating fountain here. 1940 to 45, so some kind of memorial to the Italians who died in the war. Of course, they were allied with Hitler, so, I'm not sure. Being ignorant of the situation, I don't want to say, because who knows what's going on here. We'll take some research. But a beautiful statue.